Welcome to the Monday Morning Wake Up Call with your host, Kerry Ramage, managing broker at Remax Elite, and Heather Holiday, your social marketing nut, talking about hottest real estate topics with a little weekly activity and motivation for the week. Well, good morning and happy Monday.
Good morning. Happy Monday. We're now a week into the time change, so hopefully everybody's adjusting to the sun being out later and the sun coming up later.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I go to bed really early because I usually wake up really early. But it's kind of interesting when I'm still awake and it's like, oh my gosh, it's after 8 and I'm still up. Like, this is so weird. I'm not in bed yet. So I feel like I'm staying up so late because I just kind of go into bed early and watch TV. But I also notice now I'm like waking up with, Leo's alarm, which usually I'm already working and, try to make sure to go in to when he wakes up, say goodbye. So it's kind of interesting, and I don't know if it's just from not feeling well, that just to get back in the groove, or it could be the time change. Who knows?
It's always a hard adjustment for me. I need the sun to wake up, and so it's always hard for me because it just makes my getting up earlier harder. Anyway. Anywho.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with them trying to make that permanent, which now that I live where it snows, I understand why they have the time change, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because so often our kids have a 2-hour delay, whether it be fog, because if it rains, Smoky Mountains, it's just, you can't even see. So there's a 2-hour delay, or the snow, there's a 2-hour delay, and then it's kind of gone.
Right.
So, in Florida, never did my mind go there.
Right. But it's still, if it's, the sun's not up and your kids are walking to the bus stop and say their bus stop is on US 1 or something like that, I don't love that they go out to the bus stop in the dark. I don't have kids going to a bus stop in the dark at all anymore. So
in the dark and snow or snowing, all of that. So I don't know. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I guess they attempted to do this years ago and everyone wanted it. And then they're like, yeah, no, we don't want this.
Right.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, but I like the lighter later. But I just need my body to get in the groove.
Adjust.
Yeah. Because
I hear you.
And spring break is pretty much
done. Today's the first day back to school. So
yeah,
we're done here.
Jessie made it. She did her first solo trip. Well, not solo. She had a friend, but that was nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh. Just absolutely nerve-wracking. Thank God for the Find My Phone so I can just follow her along. But that means that's 2 Sundays I didn't sleep because she likes to leave at like 7:00 at night.
Oh, drive through the night. That's what I always used to like to do as well.
Me too. And now I can't see at night, so I can't drive at night at all. But I know now I understand why my mom used to always freak out when I would drive from Melbourne to Gainesville when I was in college. And I would be on a motorcycle too. So I guess that would freak me out even more because now Hunter's, that's what he's saving for, is a motorcycle. And I'm like, no, I see what the front of your car looks like, dude. No, you don't need to be on a motorcycle.
Right? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Growing up. They're all growing up.
It's so nuts. So today's show is kind of going to be a little interesting.
It's different than our normal, but I was reading an article of a month or so ago, and I was kind of excited about it. Like, let's talk about great descriptive words for your listings, or words that are overused and just yucky, because
the one that always gets me is when it starts with "won't last long." It's summer. There's still snow pictures, and it's, been on the market for 6 months, won't last long, hurry,
There's
whatever.
let's talk about that first. There's so many when you put them in your listing in the narrative, and then if something doesn't happen, you need to go back in and change that. So yeah, if you're going to put won't last long, which in this market that's kind of silly to
Right, it's
say,
almost irrelevant because, yeah, we know nothing lasts long. Hello,
but
but,
but if you put that in there, say you're in a market where it's slower and in this case it won't last long. Well, a month in, if you still have won't last long in the narrative, you're not doing your job. Here's another one, priced to sell. So are all the other houses on the
not
market
priced
not
to sell.
priced to sell? Does that, I mean, does that mean? I mean, is that code word for we won't be negotiating, this is the right price? I mean, I just don't. I think that as agents, we need to start honing our skills on words that we're using, and some of these are not the right words.
And I would love to know, those that are watching, what is your favorite silly, I don't even know what, like overplayed?
Overplayed
Overplayed?
descriptive word. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Here's another one. Updated. And my silence is, and then it doesn't say anything else. Now, I'm a big fan of putting in my listing what's been done so that when the appraiser comes, the appraiser can see all the work that's been done and the years that it was done. So I usually will do things like HVAC 2020, roof 2021, kitchen, granite, cabinets, lighting, whatever year it was done. I remember one time, this was years ago, I wrote newer roof, and I wasn't even thinking, like, the roof was 7 years old. I wasn't realizing what year we were in when I wrote that. And so I think it was like a 2004 roof and it was 2011. And then somebody called me out on it. I was like, oh my God, you're right. That isn't a newer roof. That's kind of half the life.
And I guess it's all just based on interpretation, right?
Yeah.
That's newer to me. 7 years, it's new. So I can share my screen, which will have kind of like, we have categories.
Mm-hmm.
So we can kind of pick on some that are overplayed or kind of weird.
Well, I mean, because there's some in the categories that I think that are on the list, and I'm like, oh, I would never use that word. So yeah, let's share the screen. And exactly, Susan, it's I try to just include as many updates as I can. And honestly, really, I write it for the appraiser with
and
descriptive words.
And I, obviously I didn't list that long, but I made a book. So it would have the colors, it would have all of, whether it be the tax receipts, it would be anything that they've done to include like in this book. And then that way, people who are looking at the home could see this book, and I, made it all pretty in the little vinyl, whatever covers. And then of course that would, stay at the house so that the new buyers would have all that. And for me, the colors. So even me, like when I'm painting my house, I keep all the color swabs and kind of label them so people know what colors. And
what colors were used.
I thought that was a brilliant idea.
I think so too. And honestly, when you go, it's funny. I went to a listing recently that had a book. That a lot of people don't do that anymore. But
I mean, this was
but I think you should still do it. I think you still do it. I think when we were inside the listing and we were kind of looking through it, it made the buyer feel that the seller really cared about the house.
And that's really the main reason is that pride of ownership, and that they have their shit together.
Yeah. And it speaks to the type of seller that they are, and that you think they have taken care of it. So the inspection should go well. So if you're a person who's not handy, which will bring me up to another one of my favorites, handyman special. Well, how handy does the man have to be? And usually a handyman special means this is a dump. Call the contractor. It's not something, so it's like, let's try and make the words accurate in the description as well.
I think I had that in the house that we bought. The owner was a contractor. So, but the things that we see as we're doing things, we're like, what in the world? This guy was an actual contractor? Like, this is what he did for a living? Because It's like these little things, and it's like, what?
Right.
What?
Right.
It's just, I mean, and Leo is not, but he's definitely handy. But some of the things he's like, what was this
Right.
guy thinking? Like, this is what he did for a living? This is kind of crazy.
Right. Right. Note to self: do not hire this guy. Right.
Well, he moved to Florida, so we're good.
Oh, there you go.
We switched spots.
Here's another thing. What you're writing is to draw the buyers in, right? So you're wanting them to want to see the house based on what you've written, but make sure it's accurate and don't repeat everything that's in the listing. You don't need to repeat that it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath pool home when you can see that in the listing. So try and come up with.
Well,
you're sharing the screen. I thought, yeah.
I do like that. Only the way that it pulls over, like if you're having postcards or ads automatically done, it pulls in from that part of that description.
Right, true.
So the photos won't always say that. Yes, the full, if they click all the way through, they'll see that. So I'm kind of on the fence with that. I wish people would display their photos, like those first 5 photos, just because of all these automated things, the way that it pulls, whether the postcards, the flyers, ads, all of this stuff that's automated kind of for us, you'll see kind of 5 different versions of the front door.
Well, that's. I
know that has nothing to do with descriptive words.
No, but I'm with you. It's still what pulls people into the listing. And let me tell you, if you have 5 pictures of the front of the house and the aerial view and on and on and on, people are not going to get that far into your photos either. So I learned this from one of our agents, Todd Ostrander, and he does the flow through. So he does front, living room, kitchen, bedroom, pool, and then he rotates through it again, because usually you have multiple pictures of the kitchen, multiple pictures of the pool, multiple picture of the living room. So he kind of gets to it right away, because usually the person will flip through about 7 photos, and if they don't see what they want to see,
they're on to the next one.
Yeah.
No, so and I because I was just trying to play with our chime and stuff, and I can share a carousel, photo album straight from the platform, but it pulls in those first 4 or 5 photos.
Yeah, Barbara's saying it's the first 6. The first 6 are the photos that the key to drawing in the buyer.
Yep.
So make sure.
I agree. So it kind of drives me nuts, because then with all these platforms that automatically create all this content for you, and it's just going to make your life easier if you just put in make those first ones like the actual really great photos, not the same photo, different angles.
Right.
So I'm with Todd.
The fabulous kitchen, the fabulous master bath, the pool, the backyard. And here's another one. Like, now we're getting off the words and we're getting to the pictures. If you're doing aerial photos and the roof is shot, I suggest you don't include those in the thing. I'm not saying don't be truthful about the roof, but I don't think that showing an aerial photo of the roof that is obviously in dire need of repair is putting your best foot forward.
Right. No, you want to draw them in for sure. So
these are creative words for a starter home, and here's my favorite: handyman special. I'm not a big fan of handyman special, but move-in ready is always good, especially if it's in move-in ready.
If it's move-in ready.
Yeah.
Not just because it's empty.
Yep. Good Bones is another one of those ones that I don't love.
Renovated to perfection. That's interesting. And a blank slate. Those are all, like, for me, they're not description of a starter home. They're kind of, for me.
Right. I'm not sure I think of that as a starter home either. I think of that.
Bring your contractor.
Yeah. Right. Well, at least that's better than handyman special. It's not you who's going to be doing the work,
Right. Yeah. I do like, room to grow, or I think the work from home ready is something that's nice for right now. I think, because that's like
really relevant to today, for sure. Right. For sure. So, and it's funny because we've been with the open floor plan now for so long, where you walk in and it's the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, all in one room. Whereas 20 years ago, you had the separate living room and dining room, and then you had the great room with the kitchen, the nook, and the family room. I think we're probably going to start seeing us move back towards that type of layout because of so many people working from home or going to school from home, and everybody needs a different place to be.
Thank goodness for she sheds.
Exactly.
And in Tennessee, you don't need like any permits or anything. So just nope. Well, I mean, I'm sure if you went to the county and told them you wanted to give them money, they'll take it.
Right.
That was super weird. Super weird.
So let's go to modern homes. Soaring ceilings, that's a good one. Floor to ceiling windows. I saw pictures of a house last week. I can't remember where the house was. It was here. And in the nook, and I'm not kidding, it was floor to ceiling windows. It was gorgeous. But other things for modern homes, energy efficient. People are wanting to know
I'm on the fence on that because I think, does that mean I'm going to have to replace the toilet because it's not going to flush correctly? Or the pressure for the shower? Because you notice when you get all these energy efficient things, it's like they don't have a lot of water pressure or anything like that.
So for the shower, here's the trick. You open up the shower head and you take out the little thing that's in there that's making it low flow. But I think of it more in terms of energy efficient when it comes to the dishwasher and the refrigerator and the HVAC, that kind of thing. But clean lines, that's a good one because, that's not a lot of like clutter or not all those niches and shelving. Certainly open floor plan, contemporary, creatively updated. That's interesting. You wonder what that means. That almost to me sounds like the contractor.
Every room's going to be a different color.
That sounds like
that was my first thought.
Right.
Like, you're going to have a green and a blue and a pink and a purple room.
Eco-friendly. That's, we're looking with, there's a designation now for green homes, and we have a whole section in our MLS for green homes. So people are looking more and more at that because they want to save energy and they want their stuff to be green, and they're worried about the environment.
I like the entertainer's dream.
I do too. That to me sounds like this really great kitchen with a bar and an island, and it opens up to the family room.
Just a lot of open space for entertaining and stuff like that. So I was like, I haven't really ever seen that a ton. You see perfect for entertainers or entertainment. Right. I just thought that was kind of interesting. I like the oversized windows. I think the open and airy open concept,
or indoor outdoor living, that I love too, because especially now, like here in Florida, if you've got the pool with the pool cage, I had a meeting a couple weeks ago with someone who was in Ohio, and he works for our showing service, and he was pulling up my listings, and we were kind of working on how the showing service works. And he pulled up one of my listings that has a pool cage, and it was just a nice home in Palm Bay, but an average home in Palm Bay. And he was like, "Look at that pool with that." He goes, "What's that? Is that like an indoor pool?" He was so excited by it. But I said, "Oh, you need to move to Florida." But when you really can bring that family room out into the pool area, and it really is indoor outdoor living. I've always said, like, the $1 million view is when you walk in your front door, and when you're standing at the front door, you look through the living room or the family room directly to the pool, and then the water on the other side of that. That is the $1 million view. And I have time and time again, when I'm listing a property, I have made my sellers rearrange their furniture, because people don't want to start walking in the house and then come and hit the back of a couch. They're going to beeline it straight for that slider. So take advantage of that and really showcase that indoor outdoor.
My last house in Florida, the big thing was, yes, we wanted a pool, but so many pools, like there was no room to sit outside by the pool.
Yeah.
So really the big selling point was that we could have all of our furniture
out there
so that we can, we had little kids. So, I mean, they were small at the time. So it was, they could have their games and, just play out there. And that was really hard to find. But also, like, when you walked in the front door, the whole HVAC system and closet was all in that hallway. So when you open the door, you immediately saw like a
Oh,
closet. And so we
yeah.
ended up having that moved.
I know that floor plan.
The lunch. Oh, it was like a really funky custom. I don't even understand
Really?
what was going on. And I
That's
mean,
funny.
but that's what we like. I hate the cookie cutter standard.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of weird things about that house. But so immediately, that's what we wanted to remove, to move all of that, so that when you walked in, you saw straight through. You have the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, and you have the French doors that go right out to that pool. Because you
Right.
couldn't see it. It was, there's like a closet in the
Right.
HVAC system and everything. So it's a
Yeah, and
little,
nobody wants that. You want that view. So let's go
yeah.
to luxury homes. And so here's one of the most overly used, and all of these, I think you've attached this to our blog, Heather, right? So people can
I'm on the blog right
you're on
now.
the blog. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So luxury homes, one of the most overused words is luxury. Because what does that mean anymore? And everybody seems to be using it. So you need to find better words to describe luxury. Exquisite, that's a nice word. Magnificent
That
estate.
is Jesse's favorite word, is magnificent.
Magnificent, that's funny. I can see her saying that.
That's her word.
But magnificent estate, beautifully appointed, attention to detail, custom built. And make sure it really is custom built if you're calling it custom built.
Trophy property. That's definitely and I don't even know what this little thingy is. That's kind of weird. Whatever architectural tour de force. I think of writing.
Oh, tour de force. Yeah. Yeah. I think that just sounds a little, I don't know about that, but sophisticated. I think I said tastefully appointed, immaculately refurbished. Trophy property. That sounds a little
weird.
A little you're too into yourself kind of thing. Historic homes. We don't have tons of historic homes here in Brevard County, but we have a few. That's when
you had one in Rockledge that was like really old.
Oh, I had the castle.
Like
yeah,
years and years
I had
and years.
the castle.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was fascinating. But I noticed, over by the water in the Rockledge area, there are a lot of
older homes. So there is where the words "good bones" comes into play, because it means that it's what's on the inside is strong and it's going to last. Old world charm or historic. That's always, especially if it's on the historic register. And then depending on lovingly restored, that's good, or original character. We have, I can't think of the terrazzo floors here. That's a big thing, especially on beachside houses. I love terrazzo floors.
Yeah, we would
especially
when we would just have them polished, and I mean, it was amazing. And it's so practical especially when you're on the beach.
Yeah.
Practical.
Yep. Just, well, now we have the Roombas. Just put your Roomba, sweep up all the sand. You're good to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Good to go. Here's great words for your backyard or your patio. There's one I was reading this morning that I really like. Private retreat. If the backyard is really nice, or mature foliage, because a lot of times in some of the areas here, the developers just come in and level everything, and then there's no nice trees or landscaping until those things grow up. Serene and tranquil. That's one of my favorites, actually. Or Zen paradise. Or expansive green spaces, if you have that. I was looking at a friend's listing the other day, and it was on an acre of property, and they had expansive green spaces. I mean, that would have been great verbiage in that.
I saw a photo of her post the other day, and it had where the description had tropical landscaping, and they had just gone to like the nursery and put in these little plants of, flowers, but it said tropical landscaping. And to me, I would think tropical landscaping, but it didn't say mature. They were brand new, like freshly potted flowers or something. And that was their tropical landscaping.
Wow. Okay.
But they didn't say mature trees or anything, so I don't know.
So they did it right. Right. So here's another one. A short walk. A short walk to me is not the same as a short walk to my sister. I will probably walk 2 blocks and she would walk 22 blocks, right? So you want to say more, what else? Like just steps from kind of makes sense, or
Minutes
I saw
from.
another
I
one.
know a lot of people use, close to shopping.
Close proximity, that's better. But to say walking distance, because that is very subjective. And so I might see it and think
Well, and
one.
a lot of the websites have the walkability scores or whatnot, but for like, you know, most of us, I mean,
Well, this was a great idea. Our agent Karen Mann, she had one that said, walking distance to the beach, and she actually took a video and she left the house and she walked to the beach and she timed it. And it literally took her, I don't remember. I think it was like 4 minutes or something like that. 5 minutes to the beach. It doesn't seem like it was 5 minutes because I watched the whole video as she walked it. So I can't imagine I watched a 5 minute video, but I might have. But that was such a great idea. And she actually won a listing from somebody who wasn't going to list with her because he didn't want to mix business and pleasure because they were friends, but saw that video, thought it was such a creative way to market how close it was to the beach, and hired her to list his house.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do that. They'll, go to the shopping plazas, or, I mean, and that's something even, I tell the agents all the time is you're out there showing property, you're at the malls or anything, just do quick videos, because you're not just selling a house, you're selling a way of life. And that becomes evergreen content of a video that you could always show. Like, here's, this is 5 minutes from your house, and you show the video of you walking through the different malls or the different, things that are right there for you to do. I mean, you have the manatees over beachside or Palm Bay or whatever.
Right.
I mean, having these videos makes it super nice when you are selling, a specific area and you already have those videos of things that are super close. I mean, to me, it's just kind of like a no-brainer, but I think we overthink things. And you don't have to be in the video. Just go out there and talk, or just take the video, and you could always do a voiceover for that specific video. There's so many. Oh, don't get me started on that.
Right. Right. So, so Anna brought up a thought about fair housing. You do have to be careful about fair housing. And here's one of the words that is frowned upon now, saying up and coming. Because what does that mean? And what are you saying about the neighborhood now? So they're recommending you don't use things like up and coming, because that could usually that depicts a neighborhood that was bad or had crime in the past and is maybe getting better. And so you don't.
I would think of that as like a newer area, like an art district or something like
that. Oh, see, so when I bought my first house in Atlanta, where you had a lot of older neighborhoods, I bought in whatever neighborhood I went to, and we went to the up and coming neighborhood to look, and it was rough. I'll just say that. So that, yeah. But we would use up and coming here to the new construction areas, like out West Vieira or Southern Palm Bay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So that's when I think of up and coming. To me, it's like a whole newer area that, I mean, all of that area between Emerald or whatever they're calling it.
Emerald City, but it's not called Emerald City. It's Emerald something now. Yeah.
So, but that's, to me, what I think of up and coming is like a newer area, not a bad one. And oh, look at that. And Steve, finally, we have where his information pops up.
I know, because normally he has
to get that from Kerry. Like, what is that? Awesome. The larger homes, let's see. Grand, I think that's, enormous. I don't know about that. I like expansive.
Right. I like expansive. I like
we like the soaring ceilings.
Soaring ceilings. I
like generously sized, especially if it's bedrooms. For me, I love floor plans because I want to see, if they're 10 by 10 next. Like, I can't do 10
well, and so our MLS has this product called Flow Plan that it's super easy to make a floor plan from. It doesn't have the measurements, but it has what the what it looks like. And we just won. There was a contest. So all the brokers entered a contest, or I don't know how many entered. I might have been the only broker that entered it, but we won 2 free weeks of floor plans with Flow Plan at our office. So there's no reason not to do a floor plan.
I love floor plans. And I can say if I see, usually you have that as like maybe the second or third photo or whatnot. So when I'm looking at houses and I'm going to immediately, you can kind of see the thumbnails. I will immediately be drawn to the one that has the floor plan first.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
I could, there's some people that could look at houses all day. I could look at floor plans all day. Like I just go and Google, like we're looking at, doing a barnatorium. So I'm constantly looking at all these different floor plans and stuff like that.
You visit the home, Steve. So they sent out the video replay. I sent emails about what you need to do, but you visit the home with your phone and while using their system, and it draws up the floor plan. And I will just tell you this: several of the women in our office who may be technology challenged have done flow plans, and it was super easy and successful. So anybody can do it.
Awesome.
Let's go to the smaller homes, because this is one of the ones that it drives me crazy. I'm not a big fan of cozy. I'm not a good
cozy to me is small.
That means you're telling them it's small or quaint or dollhouse or cottage. All of those words mean this is a freaking small house. So I would try to steer away.
Cute, comfy, all of those. But I guess it is for a small home. So
I know. Adorable. I would never.
Layout is a nice, not I'm super small. Oh my gosh, you're going to,
right,
living in a camper or something like that. I like the cleverly designed too. To me, that is like the tiny home aspect where they actually were able to put built-ins where there was empty space or something like that, to where it's going to feel larger than it actually is. So I do like cleverly designed. That's right. It's different.
Right. Well, and here's another comment. There's another one. This home has it all, but you haven't said all that it has. So, that's not really for small. That's just in general. That's just talking about being more specific. So if you're going to say this home has it all, then follow up that sentence with all that it has. Outdoor kitchen, wine room, whatever it is that it has. Tiny house is actually okay to use if it really is a tiny house, because that's a thing now. People are loving the tiny houses.
Oh, it's great. Well, and this when we do move, I'll get a bigger office, and then this will be a guest cottage.
Yeah. So also remember, again, no need to necessarily repeat the basics, but use words that might help it get a higher posting in the internet world. So maybe things like, concrete block, Space Coast home near the beaches. So if you're using keywords, that'll get you, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at, right? Yeah.
No, I really don't know what you're saying.
Oh yeah, Anna, we started with
the first thing we talked about, Steve.
We started with that. This home won't last, and then 2 months later, you still see that in the narrative. If you're writing things like that, stop doing it.
Stop. Don't do it, or go in a week later and make sure to delete that. I mean, it's when you say this home won't last, and when you have areas where they have the snow in the summer and the different, it's like. I mean, I know people that, in a normal market where houses actually stay on the market, they have to do almost 4 different, they'll have to redo
sets of photos. Yeah. Different sets of photos, just so that it doesn't look, so that you're not telling the bird
Christmas in your photos. When it's, April and May.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So there's lots of, great words that you can use. Just try to pick words that make it stand out, that really talk about the property. Make sure you're also including things that the appraiser will want to know and see. so that they know what this property has that makes it better. And
Look at
we've
all the, I mean,
attached,
there's tons and
there's
tons.
so many words. It's
There's so
funny because
many. I
I
mean,
think we were
there's,
worried we wouldn't have enough to talk about in this segment, and we still have words, and we're running out of time. But
yeah. No, I mean,
you
it's
know,
crazy. So make sure go to our blog, the MondayMorningWakeUpCall.com. Check out some of these words. Some of them are crazy. Some of them are overused, but there are some great ideas. If you're, I just get a brain fart, or sometimes you're just looking for something new because you're just writing the same thing over and over. But there's some really great words on in this
I will say
conversation.
this. So one of my friends, she always used fabulous. She always used fabulous. And I would be like, every house can't possibly be fabulous.
That would be Jessie with magnificent. Like that's her word. That's totally her word is magnificent.
Oh gosh.
For
Okay.
years now. She loves it. She loves that word. But yeah, so it's like it's just, it just becomes almost like a comfort zone and a habit. So it's always good to get different words. And I mean, we have tons of different words that you could be using. So
Yep. Yep. And so here's our weekly activity. Oh, wait, what did it? I like to emphasize on a specific size room if it's large, or garage in a small. Yeah.
for sure. In the
Yeah.
yard. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So this week's activities, when faced with tough decisions or challenges, do what feels right in both your head and your heart, and believe that blessings are always on their way, because they are, or most often they are. But I've always said, if you kind of keep your focus, good things will come to you.
Absolutely. And the words of wisdom is progress is what you're capable of doing. Motivation is what you're capable of doing. Attitude determines how well you will do it.
So keep those positive attitudes and start your week off great.
And next week we have a great, it just seems like to be the thing. We're just so crazy in a crazy world and a crazy market. So we'll really just be kind of given some great ideas on stress relievers and just different things that we can do to help each other, help yourselves, help your family, all of that fun stuff, because we're just in crazy times. That's for sure. But it's like enjoy the ride, because real estate's a roller coaster, and you just never know when everything will kind of stop or whatever. It's just hard to create that balance. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So until next week, wake up, kick ass, and repeat, and check out our blog for all the list of everything that we kind of went over and didn't even be able to touch on MondayMorningWakeUpCall.com. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone. Thank you.